Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Edward Townsend, the moderator for the podcast for today, Motivation on Monday. And I'm glad to be here. Thank the Lord for allowing me to see another day. And I just want to say a quick prayer here. Father, in the name of Jesus, bless this broadcast, Lord. Bless each and every person that's on the broadcast, Lord. Touch them in the areas where they are needing financial help, educational, or just a new way of seeing things. Work on their mindset and their transformation of the mind and move forward. All these things we ask in Jesus' name. I pray. Amen. All right. Moving right along. Our podcast. This is Motivational Monday. I want to say something that will help you, motivate you, move you to make a decision to be a part of something bigger than yourself. If I don't say it, it won't get done. I run across some very important articles, and it comes right before Motivational Monday. Michael Jordan, I talk about him all the time, but that's what keep popping up in front of me. And we have his saying here: "It's the start that stops most people." So most people don't start, and if they do start, every little bit helps if you're really into it. And then he says, every little bit hurts if you quit. And then all of a sudden, let me see if I can share. I haven't been sharing much on here. Let me just click the share button here, see what takes place. Okay, share screen. Okay, there we go. Let's see, share screen. Okay, share. Okay, I said yes, share. Okay, there we go. Had to click it too. All right, let's see. Got it. Oh my goodness. Share screen. Okay, here's the other article from a well-known professional athlete. But my point is that everyone, times have changed, and it changed without any warning. It just changed, right? Okay, so this conversation was between Emmett Smith and Michael Jordan back in the 90s. And he reached out to Michael Jordan to learn more about business from him because Michael Jordan was successful in business even when the other players were strictly just in the sports. He wanted to own something. He wanted to be the boss of his own thing. He wanted to create something that's going to pay him continuously and be like Elvis Presley. When they say his name is synonymous with money. So Michael Jordan is the same way. So after he met Emmett, he asked him, uh, how come we don't have meetings like this more often to learn and do business together? That's all I talk about is doing things together. Unity is power in unity. You be empowered just with the conversation. Okay. Mike, what did you have to do to get this meeting? Emmett said, I had to call you and ask for the information. So I'm putting information out there. You can call me to get more information or to move forward. Then Mike said, exactly. If you had not done that, we would not be sitting down talking about business. You were humble enough to ask, meaning you were willing to learn. We're looking for people of like-mindedness in the Houston Financial Wall Street movement. And we want to build a culture of like-minded people. See? So he went on to say, you cannot teach someone who is not willing to learn. You have to have a fertile mind before seeds. I talk about the word seeds and seeds all the time because you have to plant a seed, even if it's just a good word, before it can grow. Seeds are in the always have to have the growth process. Can be planted in you, or you will never learn, or you will never grow. As the saying goes, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Now, I thought that was very, very, very important that I ran across, oh man, that information during the time. Let's see if we can stop sharing. Get back to there. We go back to normal. So I learned something today. But see, I was stifled for a minute, but I didn't give up. I kept clicking and clicking, clicking, because it says I can share. So I know enough to know if it says one thing, go to the next thing, and on and on and on, right? Okay, so we're back. Now that article, it helps me out a lot in what I'm already talking about. So God give us all the time what we need to be successful. I was watching the news the other day, and it was talking about jobs, and the presenter was saying there's a new thing that's going on around with people that's looking to have more income. He said it's called talents and skills. Well, we've been talking about that for years. God given talents and skills to go forward. So they're using their skills to create wealth or to create an income producing asset that would give them the opportunity to do that. See? So I'm a person that likes to keep it simple. I don't want to turn flips across the stage or do all the other distractions so that you don't think properly. I want to talk to you just like you're in college. You are in a classroom where you're learning, where the instructor has your total attention, not distracted by other things, uh, because there's no hidden agendas. You either want to change your life or you don't want to change your life. We're here to partner with a culture of like-minded people. That is the sole purpose. And it's given out in increments of where you are. When you first join the movement, that's the starting point. Now you're privy to phase two. Okay. We can't give out all the information, then you just gave your whole program. So I want people to be involved and locked in. Every process that I talk about, it goes further than the conversation that you hear right now. It's a test, in other words, so that you can have a great testimony. I love testimonials. You can't beat it because it's a word of mouth. I strongly still believe in word of mouth marketing. Okay. So we're going to do a lot of word of mouth marketing because you're actually talking to the people. I love these platforms now better than all of them. I can't even count the money. I can't even count the times in the last 30, 35 years that I've been going to hotels, having meetings and conferences. And, we still going to have a conference because a conference is just a large gathering of everybody in one place to talk about the accomplishments over the previous year, previous 2 years, how often that you have the conference, right? So these are the type of things that we're going to do. But see, we're doing business as we feel as we feel should be done right now, not the norm because everybody else do it. We're not about that. We are thinking creatures, and we're going to think, and we're going to use our talents and skill collectively together to accomplish what it is that we want to do. Okay. So I read in the middle. I see here, I didn't even welcome here. Welcome everybody to the Houston Wall Street Movement broadcast and podcast. Please go ahead and share this broadcast to those you think need this amazing movement and access to the information. please share, um, post, repost, whatever it is to get the information, because everything's on a time scale. Time is our most precious thing that we have. I mean, it's precious, very precious, because see, you missed the time, it's gone. I had $624 back in 1964, I think it was, but I didn't have the opportunity to invest in McDonald's. See what I'm saying? So opportunities come and go. Every 10 years, the world goes through, United States, world, however you want to put it, go through a big phase, a change totally. In 2011, everything changed because of the Sears Tower. I mean, was it the Twin Towers in New York? That incident came up. Everybody got more in tune with God, and God we trust. It made a change in people's thinking and the way they do things. The world did a big change because everything that happens in the United States causes the world system to change based on the people in charge, how they feel. But I'm not about the political things that goes on, because it's not done in the right way. You might as well still have the North and South fighting against each other. You got the Republicans and Democrats. You see, I don't believe in all the best man for the job. Get the job done. Commander in chief. When I was in the military, if I said something about the president, it was just like talking about my commanding officer. I could get in deep trouble. You see what I'm saying? It was a respect for the commander in chief. He's in charge of the whole thing. So he has a heavy shoulder bearing a lot of stuff. So we couldn't just talk about the president, because we couldn't do that in the chain of command. But nowadays, we got people in the same house with the president, the senators and the congressmen and all the other affiliates up in the White House. They talk about the president. They talk about his plans, what he do. We change because we don't want to be under one person's personal opinion, personal this, whatever, every single year. I think 8 years is enough for one person to be in office to make the change that God given him to make the changes, and give someone else a chance to go in. Now, sure, just like everything don't work out the way we want to, we don't have to say anything. The establishment would say something. If it's the wrong fit, God will remove it. You see what I'm saying? So we don't have to go through all of these big time changes. And I tell people all the time, I said, look, let's come together and be powerful, because what we have going now is very, very powerful. We don't, I did a call last night, my Sunday afternoon call, and we talked about the situations for us, banks and finances and investing and all of that type of stuff, but we doing a new wave thing. You know what I'm saying? We're not dealing with what normally went on since 1937, when there was just 1,700 in the S&P 500. Now it's up to 35,000. See, that's a lot of years. And it's based, and the controllers now is based on what actually happens. So it's going to change just because of the hurricane that came in. It might it might not have anything to do with the market, the way to change, unless some oil or refineries or something significant got destroyed, and things of that nature. So we want to be real. We don't want to do things just because for ulterior motives. We want to keep it simple. I'm a simple person, but a powerful person. I want to do simple things, but powerful results. Because see, when you make it too complicated, then it don't have the effect on everybody. It has an effect on everybody, but some portions in the area. Just say, for instance, I got a man that's a forklift driver. He don't have a high school education nor a college degree, but he's a hard working family man. He takes care of business as a family person should, and he should have the same opportunity as anyone else. So if this information is good for the person with the degree, are more knowledgeable, are more talented, then it should be afforded to that person as well. How else are we going to bring them up? See, we got to bring people up to the level to where we are. And that's why I want to keep it simple so people can do it easy. I know some things, just an example, and not talking about anything, but I had a problem with what you call this other program out there called Click Funnels. I spent a lot of money, but it's a lot of stuff to there, and I don't think all that's necessary. So I don't indulge in it. I'd keep it simple so everybody can do it because, see, cash, asset, cash solves all problems. We come together and we build the cash. We go buy assets that create more cash, like fourplexes, strip malls, land, subdivision, hotels, even our own bank, income producing assets. So I don't have to deal with all that other stuff. Keep it simple. I got $1,000. I can invest in the program and I can get the dividends from that. And I don't have to be stressed out about what I don't know. It's good to learn and know, but at least you have time to do that. You're not uh, unqualified, pushed out, feel you don't have a chance to take advantage of some of the good things that's going on. You know, been there, done that. I've been in all kind of companies. I've been licensed, security license, insurance license, mortgage license. I done did all the licenses. I done been in all types of companies. But from all of those companies, by me being persistent, I learned a lot of things. And now every day I look back or my mind go back and say, man, were you stupid or you just didn't know? I said, I might have not, I wasn't stupid because I just wasn't aware of what was going on. Now everything is coming to me factual and I can see the process of where it all went wrong. And I'm I created my company to see a problem and fix it. If there's a problem, find a solution. So that's what I'm doing. I do everything based on what I went through and other people I know around me went through, and we're providing a solution. Now that's just me, but I want to get united with culture of like-minded people. Now, not only what I went through, but what they went through as well. Maybe not as long as me. I got a conference coming up the 23rd of October, and it says from then to now, from 1951 to 2021. And I'm going to showcase me. And next time we have others because this is the first in the beginning. So I wanted to give an outlook on what I went through and how I got to where I am today. I lived in a small country town in Arkansas, way back in the woods between two rivers. We had no electricity, no running water, and we worked on the farm chopping and picking cotton. Okay. So we had the grocery store and then we had the rolling store. I don't know if people understand what a rolling store was, but it was the one that come around every weekend on wheels. So we save all our change because what the store didn't have, the rolling store had because they come from what we call town. So, and then we didn't have to walk all those miles down the rock road to get to the store. And then we had a variety of stuff to get. The store only stocked what they knew that as being in a farm community, what the people used and need at that time. You didn't have to worry about a lot of things because we didn't have indoor bathrooms. We had different types of cleaning for the outdoor bathroom. It wasn't like Lysol and all the other kind of stuff that we have today. It was called lime. It was like a powder, and it killed the bacteria and it killed the smell because it was an outdoor place and it didn't have a sewer type things to where it go away. It just stayed there until it deteriorated. However, it was going. We didn't put any chemicals in there. But long story short, that was my first, and then I got introduced at that early age and during that time and process to what we call entrepreneurship. I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. We didn't have a TV at that time. We didn't even have a radio. So our knowledge and everything came from, like biblically saying, from our elders that had went through things and had wisdom. My grandfather built his own smokehouse. When he killed hogs, he smoked the meat, and man, it was good. He smoked it so good, he would take us out there and tell us how it's done, why it's so important to do this. So we were going through a learning process. He'd take his little case knife out and he'd slice a little piece on the outside of the meat there and let us taste it. We said, no, I don't want no raw meat. He said, no, it's not raw. It's been cured. It's been smoked and cured in for months and months and months. Taste it. And man, that was good. So he had his own smokehouse. He grew everything from pigs and geese, goose. We had everything. Guineas. A lot of people don't know what Guineas is, but we had a guinea. They produce rapidly, man. They might have 30 to 40 eggs in their nest, and they have all these little guineas following them. They was like to be in seclusion. They didn't hang out with the chickens and everything. They stay where they are and raise their nests and do their own little thing, right? But I had this job that I would do. I would go to the neighbors and do different things. Well, this one lady, she had like pear trees, peach trees, plum trees in her yard. And man, I get a chance to eat some of the fruits and things, and she'd give me a little bag to take home. But that one day I was sitting waiting to get paid, and she had this newspaper that she had ordered from somewhere because everything was come through the post office. We even ordered our baby chickens from WDIA, the radio station back then, and they send live chickens through the mail, and then we put them out on the yard, and when they got old enough, and that's how we got the chicken, man. I used to know every brand, every name of chicken, and they wasn't all white. They wasn't these production chickens, I call them, like today. They wasn't all white. We had Wyandottes, we had orange chickens with stripes, and we had gray chicken with stripes. We got Rhode Island Reds. They all had names, and they were plump, pretty chickens. They wasn't no just mass production of chickens. So we had that. But this latest newspaper, I never had an opportunity to see the things that was in that newspaper. And what was in that newspaper was big city, New York. And, I hadn't even heard of New York because we were primitive, man. We wasn't even. I went to school for 3 weeks, sometime a week. Most of the time we'd miss it. We'd go to school for like 2 weeks. But we spent the other weeks working on the farm. We half time we're supposed to have half the time in school, half time, but everything that was done in the household, it took everybody to get the money for the household. So the parents used their kids as workers because my grandfather was like a sharecropper, and all of his kids, he had 14 kids. So his 14 kids and their kids all was part of his sharecropping procedure. So what he did, we would work all year, and at the end of the year, he would get paid and he would distribute whatever he was paying to the rest of the families. I was small at that time, but I saw the process. And most of the time, it was a sad situation because they had credit up and got no pay at the end of the year. So we worked all year long for nothing. So I didn't forget that. So when I was looking through this newspaper and I seen these big cities and stuff like that, man, I said, wow, that really exists. See, we had no TV, we had no radio, and we couldn't afford no newspaper because we didn't know nothing about no newspaper and whatnot. Only the Miss Annie, she was a midwife too, and she had that newspaper there. So I seen this little article in there called Grit Newspaper. So I said, well, that sounds like a newspaper. Yeah, this is Grit. So now I filled it out, sent it in, and I start selling and distributing that Grit newspaper. And man, it helped me out tremendously. It put me in another world because we didn't know what we were poor because everybody on the farm had the same thing. We were all poor, so we had nothing to compare it to. So I just went through all of those years learning from the newspaper, not from the school, because the school was right there on the farm too. The teacher lived on the farm. It wasn't like in a big city public school like it is now. I remember when we moved our school from the farm, we had a one room teacher that taught from the first grade to 12th grade, even though we didn't have somebody in every age range or class range until they finally closed all the country schools and brought everybody to Park into the public school. Okay, so we still wasn't exposed to TVs and radios and newspaper because the lady that was teaching, she lived, Miss Jones, she lived on the farm as well. So we were just lost people. We were living the best we could, and we were satisfied because we wasn't considered slaves, even though we were not that far from it now that I know more. But anyway, I did this article in that newspaper about sell these great newspapers, send them a dime, and I keep a nickel. Well, a nickel was good money for a kid back in then. Like the Rolling Stone come by on Sunday, and I could buy all this different stuff that came from town that you couldn't get at the country store. So that was great to me. So that was my first time as an entrepreneur. And then we go on from back in the 50s forward. And I was so glad to get away from the country. I went through that phase. The first place I went was like everybody do, migrated. We went to our people were in Chicago. We went through that phase, worked in factories. That was a big time thing. And it just took me through the years and time. I won't go through every detail on the call here, but up until today. So even after I got to the point to where I learned that about business, from that Grit newspaper, and I seen oceans and cars, limousines, I said, man, what kind of car is that? And buildings, man, I said, that don't exist. I go outside and I can't see a house in 100 miles. I could see our next door neighbor, but the houses were so far apart down there and they all was flat to the ground. There was no tall buildings, not even in parking. The town, 1,489 people. I never will forget it. 1,489 people in the whole town, and that include us in the country, way back. So I want to set that up and have this conference based on that. That'll be the catalyst for our movement because as we unify ourselves and get a large group of people involved with us and part of the like-minded culture of people, we're going to do great things because we're going to have testimonials like mine from other people from other areas of the state in the United States. So, I think it's going to be, we don't want to go back and live in the basic, which I could because I went through it. I actually did it. So I haven't forgotten any of it. We raised everything. So, but we're going to have different life experiences from everybody that will be able to help everybody because there's somebody that went through things differently, even in parking. I had classmates and that lived in parking, never stayed in the country. So I wanted to be in the city when I knew more. And I enjoyed going spending the night or the weekend with the ones that lived in the city. And for all purposes, I don't know why they wanted to come to the country and spend the weekend with me. Well, man, I'm trying to get uptown. So, but we did it. We changed back and forward, It was just part of life. And that's just a portion of a kid and myself. But as I grew, I couldn't wait to get out of the country. First place I went was Chicago. But saying all of that, that's going to be part of our conference and give you a general idea of what the basic is. But this is Motivational Monday. I want to motivate you to go to the website where it says remember to share and broadcast at the bottom of the screens there with your friends and family to enjoy this in the know information. That's my website there. You can go join the Houston Wall Street Movement, wealthcreatorchange.com. And that other one, it says cash flow. Go to clubbizmark.com website right there. And I did that for the cash flow because we're going to have, and from my experience, we're going to have people that don't have cash, but they have great skills and they have great ideas and they got great work ethics, but they just don't have the cash flow. So that's how we've been in bondage and taking advantage of it for so many years because the system keeps the cash flow out of our hands. See what I'm saying? I told a story last night about how we was talking about bonds. Bonds is debt, company debt. So when they get ready they got a new project in the company, it's going to cost them $1 million. So what they did is called float bonds. They would take those bonds and they would send them over to the investment banker. It's another terminology, but we'll train about all of this later in investment education courses. And the financial banker would send it down to the general public. The general public would buy, T bonds, S bond, municipal bonds, corporate bonds, different types of bonds that were sold to the people, and the money come back up to the investment banker. They got their percentage out, and they passed $1 million back to the corporate company that started the bond thing. So we funded the whole $1 million that the company needed to do whatever they were doing to enhance their business. You see what I'm saying? So we're the foundation way back then. Now you see where I'm going, this 51 to 2001. Way back then, all the years in between up until 2021, today it still exists. But what you don't see is the other part where everything is done through not the investment banker, but through corporations and companies that provide our needs and services. We don't own any of that stuff. So every time we get paid on our job, we spend all our money on products and services, and we don't own any. So we still funneling the money back up to the wealthy people that own these different products and services, but we don't own none. That's the goal of, excuse me, of Houston Wall Street Movement. We got to change that cycle. It still exists. And everything that go wrong, the working class people suffer. Everything that majorly happens that people couldn't control, we paid the price. So it's time out for all of that. Now, they made a statement, just the hurricane that just went through. I watch news, but I watch it for a different reason because I look and listen for things that catch my ear about financial problems. It was showing the people in New Orleans that was getting out of New Orleans because the hurricane was coming. Then he talked to some people that said they were staying put, but they couldn't tell the person why. And then the commentator said, a lot of people are leaving. Financially, they can afford it. But the majority of the people that staying can't afford the trip. They don't have a car. They don't have the excess money to stay in hotels and travel on gas and all this type of stuff. So there we are again. When the situation arises, we're not financially stable to do the things that we need to do. It's time out for all of that. It's time out for a change. We got to change the way we do business today. And I've been saying it for 30 something years, but it's still happening because, see, what we're doing, the older people that should be the leaders and have the wisdom and the knowledge from the past and struggle what they went through, like I did, to want to see better for their kids and their generation of kids. See, we got to get back to the basics. The Bible talks about leaving generational wealth. Where are we in that category? How much generational wealth do you have for your children's children's children? And I'm not talking about your job where you work. You can't leave that to them. That's for the guy that owns the company that you work for. He's building his generational wealth, right? So when I say Vanderbilt, Carnegie, all of those names, it's synonymous. Michael Jordan, Oprah is all synonymous with wealth because they have accumulated wealth, right? So we got to get more people outside of that 10% that works for the wealthy class people or the business owners. We got to get that number higher. Get my book. Please get the book. The book explains just what we're talking about. Okay? The book has the information in there, and this is the blueprint because it's also got a workbook in there where you can write down notes, say things. Okay, this is me. This is where I am. So this is what I got to do to empower myself. See, we got to do it now because a lot of our younger generation are replacing our older generation, and they have a different mindset. So we have to do a paradigm shift and help them with their mindset and the transformation of the mind so that they can do things differently. They don't, my kids and my grandkids, I talk to them, well, my grandkids, I talk to them sometimes just sitting around, and they don't believe when I told them that I stayed in the house. We didn't have no running water, no lights, no TV, no radio. They think it's a joke that I'm just an old person telling them jokes so they could laugh. But I was being for real. They don't believe it. But I instill in them that, hey, this is real. Thank God you don't have to go through it. But it was real. Granddaddy went through it. A pawpaw went through it. You see what I'm saying? So we got to change. And I mean, everything that we put together here, it don't take away from what you're already doing. I know a lot of people has been conditioned to think that anything outside of what they're doing is a problem and detrimental to them. That's not true. That's just mind controlling. I put it that way, mind controlling, because we've been conditioned, but we don't want to believe it. You have been conditioned. One of the norms is a job. We go to school, get an education, get skills, pay our money for that. And then we go hire ourselves out to the person that owns the company to get paid a portion of money just enough to take care of our family. And then over taxation take over that. And then we tax when we got paid, same money. We got paid, we paid taxes on that, right? Now, when we go to spend this money, we pay taxes again. I think the store that we buy the stuff to pay the taxes because we're not getting money, we're spending money. So we're paying more taxes, sales tax, okay? Now, if we try to invest to better ourselves, if we make a small amount of dividends or earn a few dollars on that, same money, then they want to tax us again on that. Now you understand what the Boston Tea Party was all about, over taxation. So they made it more modern and made it to where they could ease it right through. And people don't recognize it, right? And don't see it. That's the way it's done. It's done now. Same process. Same process. So we got to change it. And the only way we're going to change it is get the abundance of cash to fund everything that we need to do to make the change today or tomorrow. Not 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Sure, we're going to be changing things, but I'm talking about immediately. I'm talking about by the end of this year, we can do major changes. But we got to come together collectively to get it done. That's just the bottom line. It's the way it's got to be. And if we don't come together and do it, I look at other races. I live out in the north, south, the western suburbs of Houston. And that town is called Richmond. But it's a wealthy community, a wealthy town. And the people here are mostly foreigners. And most of them are Vietnamese, which is the second wealthiest country. Culture of people in the United States, in Houston, right? And they can barely speak English. So what's wrong with us? We can speak English. We got roadmaps of degrees that we can stretch it from coast to coast, and degrees on education and knowledge. But we're not building wealth. We're only thinking job and working for someone else because that's what we've been conditioned to do. We got to break that tradition. I know it sounds, I don't know. People come up with all types of reasons why not. But I don't deal in fear, doubt, and skepticism. And I think when people really get down to it to stop those things, that then they'll feel and talk and act the way I do. I'm not trying to be Les Brown. I'm not trying to be Tony Robbins. They got their own skills and talents that they built their wealth for their family. And we got to do the same things for the wealth and the things that our family will need in the years to come when we are not here. I want to leave a legacy of knowledge and information to my family and my friends. And I also want to leave wealth as generational wealth to my families, to my children, and to be amongst a culture of people of like-mindedness that is done the same thing. Done the same thing. So that is my focus. That's where I am today. See, and next Monday, there's a problem. Programming. And then the second problem, the portion of that is we're going to do reprogramming. See, we've been programming, like I've been talking about the conditioning and all the things that's went on with us so far. Now we're going to have to do the reprogramming, but we got to get on one accord. We got to become a unit. So I'm listening and watching for the people that hear this broadcast, that respond back to the broadcast. I look for questions, answers. I look for things that I said that people didn't quite understand. Well, let's clarify. But by all means, I want us to go forward. I want no stone to stay the same. I want to overturn all the stones and stumbling blocks in your way. Ask the question. Can you tell me more? Well, why are you not this? Why are you not that? Well, I'm not trying to be like nobody else. These are blueprints. God gave me these. And everybody, every person has a blueprint. If I put these on the paper in the black ink and they put it in the system, it's always going to come up me. If you put yours there, it's going to always come up you. So we're different creatures. We think different. We do different things. God uses us for different things. So when we realize that we all can't be the same thing and start using our God-given talents and step out on faith, then things will change. But I'm trying to accelerate that since I understand it I've helped so many people and caused so many people to be millionaires. But see, they take it for themselves. They are not trying to help anyone else. That's why I said I'm building a culture of like minded people so we all become millionaires at the same time, or we all become millionaires. See what I'm saying? So if something happened to me, these like minded people, culture of people, has the money, the wealth, the knowledge that can carry on, just like the conditioning of us now. We know what it is that we have to do every single day. I look at people that fight this traffic in Houston from 6 o'clock in the morning till around 9:30, close to 10. That nerve-wracking traffic, accidents every single morning, going to work 80 plus hours a week, 60, 40, or whatever the hours they work. And then they got the same thing coming back home because the traffic is terrible going and coming. I don't have to go through that. I go out when they get to their job. I be where I'm going and I don't come back out in the traffic during lunchtime because they all running that 20 and 30 minutes out to get some lunch. Same process, traffic jam. So I'll stay out, go do business, just go downtown, just hang out or whatever, and get on the road again before the evening traffic gets started. After 7:30, I go everywhere I want to go then because traffic is over with. Most people are home and relaxed. But that's the process that they have to go through. My point is, there's so much outside of you working and spending that many hours and time to build wealth for someone else, and you don't take out an hour just to deal with me so that I can show you how to build wealth for yourself. Just that simple. I don't care where you are. If you're in a town of 600 people or a town of 500,000 people or a million people, it don't matter. Same process. They don't discriminate. People that learn this information do better. We talk about foreigners. We talk about this person. We talk about the rich. Hey, they're not doing anything that's not supposed to be done. You can do the same thing. We got to change that mindset. I think about slavery when Willie Lynch came in and they talked about the crab in the bucket syndrome. So I don't want that stigma to me anymore. What happened? But I'm not trying to be the crab in the bucket. Every time I see a black person like me trying to go further, I want to pull them down, or I don't trust them or believe in them. That's why I keep it simple, because I don't like fast talkers. As long as you can keep it simple and talk fast, that's fine. But I'm not trying to be like them. I want you to understand what I'm saying. Because if you listen to me long enough, the spirit gonna reach you. And I know you understand it. You're gonna research, Mr. Google got an answer for everybody. See, and I sometimes I be speaking, and when I had a crowd of people back before the pandemic and stuff, people used to be Googling. I said, okay, here's my question, come. They're not listening to what I'm saying. They there to prove me wrong or find something wrong in what I'm saying. But I ain't trying to be like nobody else. I don't deal in the norm. It's going to be totally opposite of the norm. You might not agree with some of the numbers or something like that, but that's just statistics. You see what I'm saying? There's no perfect statistics. They say it is, but it's not, because they don't know what everybody thinks. They couldn't use me in the statistics unless it said, well, there's one that don't agree. They don't adhere to the norm. They're not doing things normally. You see what I'm saying? So we got to reprogram our mind so that we can do the things that's best for us and teach our kids so that they can do the things best for them and carry on our legacy. What's the purpose of me getting the knowledge and understanding what's going on if I can't generate it or pass it on to someone else? This is the Monday Motivation Power Podcast hour. Every Monday, we're going to talk in general to this. But I want everybody to take advantage of what's going on here while it's free. If you had to pay anything, it would be no more than $100. But we're going to show you how to offset that. Not a big issue. I want you to get involved with what's going on. Somebody got to pay for the utensils and the things and that's going on every day to get the message to you. I had to pay to be branded. I had to do all the things because I'm a do-it-first leader. I don't tell people things that I haven't done. I want to be a do-it-first leader. So that's how I operate. So forget about the little pieces of money because of the color of my skin to not to do business. Our people are very crafty and knowledgeable of a lot of things. Most of the inventions of lights and brooms and saddles and all different types of stuff, we hear about it on Black History Month. But did you ever think about why you don't hear it on a daily basis? Well, you know, this saddle was invented by a Black person. You see what I'm saying? So we're all our skills and talents being used by other people. We hear about Thomas Edison, but we don't hear about the Black man that created it before Thomas Edison. See what I'm saying? So we got to be more aware of our surroundings and what's going on. So I'm gonna leave it here. But what I want you to do is to go to the website and sign up to be a member. And I'm saying it for a reason. Remember, when I say something, I don't want you to be left out, because when we do that, we go into the next phase. And the only way you can be in the second phase is the first phase being completed. That's the way it goes, because we have to protect ourselves. We have to do the things that make sure that everything that's being said and done will be beneficial to everybody involved. Okay? So we're going to take control over what we are doing and what we own and control. Just the bottom line. Nothing wrong with it, nothing illegal about it. And it's a decision-making thing and time for you, because it's your choice. I don't ask you to do nothing that I haven't done. Okay? So go to the website, become a member of the Houston Wall Street Movement. Our goal is 1,000 people. 1,000 people. And that's not hard. That's a small number. Because right now, it's more than 1,000 people going to hear the information. Inbox me, 501-944-5056 is my phone number. Call me, email me. All of the information is out there. Email me. But by all means, get in touch and become a member of Houston Wall Street Movement. Get the book. The book will give you insight knowledge that you can have tangible in your hand to write down information, to keep track of what's going on. A powerful book. Powerful, very powerful, okay? So do that. And let me hear from you. Ever just say, hey, it was good, it was bad. I didn't understand, I liked them no more. Whatever the situation is, ain't nothing bad about getting an understanding. The Bible tells us, in all our getting, get an understanding. Nothing wrong with that. So questions is empowered. Questions help to empower you, because it says get an understanding. Just the bottom line. I've done and made mistakes throughout my life that I didn't get an understanding. That's why I can say what I say today, because I don't forget anything. I can go back to maybe about 5 years old and recap most of the highlights of my life up until today. And the more I talk about it, the more comes in. That's why I got to do my autobiography, so that I can start putting down when I have those gifted moments of knowledge. I can write it down. Just a while, I remember that, and then turn my recorder on and start recording. So when I put it all in the book, I have it all down in front of me. It's not that I forgot anything. It just sometimes in my subconscious, it has to be triggered. And once it triggered, then it's just like a roller coaster, man. It never ends until I just shut it all off. And then it takes another triggered moment, like when I talk to my older sisters, I talk to my mom, I talk to older people. It triggers a lot of things, and there it go again. So that's a part that I'm going to have to get in order so that I can do my autobiography. I know it's going to be a thick book. I might have to do phase 1 and phase 2 of the book. But anyway, I'm glad that everybody got on, and I hope everybody hear the information, and by all means become a member and get the book, and go to Club Bismarck and become a member as well. Okay. That way, financially, when we're going through, you never have to move the money that you're living off of. Small amounts of money, 35 bucks. Okay. And then you got health benefits there. I take a man, I'm telling you, great. We need stuff naturally. No chemicals, nothing. It's all natural stuff. And I'm telling you, man, the pineapple tea, if you can't lose weight, it's not a weight loss tea. But if you can't lose weight, then you need to get the pineapple tea. I had an issue with losing weight, and I'm so glad that I'm losing weight naturally, simply because I didn't know a certain thing was going on with my body. And I heard the founder say something. His brother died from colon cancer. And that's why he researched it and found out what he needed to do so that he could help people not die of colon cancer. Clean that gut, clean it out. And I'm telling you, it works. It works. You can, tea is a thing that you can sit and sip like you sip coffee or drink coffee. So get you one little pack. If it's your first time, put your 2 packs in there. Now, I used to drink a gallon of this other tea that I was in that TLC company tea. I used to drink a gallon trying to clean my gut. It didn't ever do anything to me. Believe me, this 1 cup with 2 little packets. And I'm not just saying it to promote it, because it's just a few dollars that you earn for the sale of the tea. I don't look at that, because I'm looking at multi-million-dollar infrastructure. Okay. So, but that tea, it gets in, so people don't have colon cancer. It go up in those little corners, your intestines got these little sacs on each side like that. But if you look right in between, it's got like that little gap right there. And when you use the bathroom, if that's all the size, and I ain't gonna say the words, but if that's the size it is, then that means that what's inside of these corners right here is not coming out in there and getting flushed out. Well, this tea goes up in them corners and flush it all out, man. Some of it is decaying, and experience it for yourself. Get the tea, and then we have that testimony on a call. See, because you can talk on these calls, you just have to get yourself invited and sign up for it, and we can talk and have conversation. You can type in and chat, so on and so forth. But you can't stay in the bathroom once you use this tea. Okay, so I'm going to end now. I'm right on the hour, and always victory. And I want to see everybody at the top. I hope I said something, but by all means, go register. Go to those websites and become a part of something larger than yourself that not only benefits you, but others too. God bless. And I'll see you on the next Wednesday. I'll see you Wednesday on Wisdom Wednesday podcast hour. Okay. Bye-bye.